Hello everyone, this is Ron from High Tech Legion. You can probably tell what I'm about to present to you just from looking at the familiar brown and beige color scheme here. Of course, this is a Noctua fan. Not just any Noctua fan, this is their latest third generation S12 fan called the S12A. Their previous second generation was the S12B, so don't confuse the names. The A is actually newer than the S12B, which I believe came out 2008, 2009. And the original S12 came out around 2006. That's the earliest, at least, that I've seen the reviews for those surface. So I'm assuming 2006. But this one, of course, 2013, you have the NF-S12A. There are actually three versions of this fan. This is the S12A PWM. Of course, if you haven't realized by the name already, it is a PWM version. But there's also a ultra low noise version that only runs at 800 RPM. But the PWM and the FLX version runs at 1200 RPM maximum. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you these three fans. Let's take a closer look instead of just reading through the box here. And let's see what the updates are to this new S12A design compared to the original Noctua S12 design. And also, we're going to test it inside a case, which is what they're designed for. They're not really designed for use as a heatsink. As a heatsink fan, they are good for ventilating your case. So let's check it out and see what we can find inside each package. See, inside each of the packaging has a preview. In the back you have the layout of the features, and in the front you get to see a window and the accessories. All three fans have different accessory packages included with them, but the actual physical fan itself is pretty much identical. So we're just going to unbox each one and take a look at the accessories included. Starting with the PWM fan version. Make sure nothing is left inside there. You have the Noctua manual. You have the accessory kit. I'm just going to put aside these two other fans for now, so you don't get confused. Here all have this sticker covering. And of course you have these sort of a Noctua brown colored noise absorbing mounts. So it's quiet when it's installed inside a case. You have the 120mm fan itself. And of course the PWM version has PWM colored wires there. You have 4 pins. Let me put this aside and go back to it later. And the accessory for the PWM version includes, this is a, I believe one of the adapters, one of the low noise adapters. And this is a Y splitter, or Y cable. Connect a single 4-pin PWM to 2 4-pin PWM fans. Useful for your heatsink. And this is also an extension cable. And if you don't want to use the anti-vibration mounts there, you can use just the typical screws. Let's open up the next box here. You have the FLX version. Almost identical in accessories. Of course, the PWM means that it's not DC controlled. It's essentially, if you have a 4-pin header on your motherboard, you can control it there. You have, of course, the anti-vibration mounts as well. Same fan, but with 3 pins now. And I believe the cable length is 30 centimeters. So let me just measure what the cable, I believe it's 35 centimeters for this cable extender. You can see just how much longer it is. And put that aside. So you get another cable extender. Get the low noise adapter and the ultra low noise adapter. You get the 4-pin Molex to 3-pin adapter. and of course the screws to mount it inside your case if you don't want to use the silicone mounts. And put that aside, make sure I don't mix up the accessory packages here. And finally we have the ULN, or ultra low noise version. This one only runs up to 800 RPM compared to the 1200 RPM of the FLX and the PWM version. Again, same covering. You have the silicone mounts for anti-vibration. You have a 4-pin Molex adapter to a 3-pin fan adapter. You have the cable extender for a 3-pin to 3-pin. And you have a low noise adapter to further lower it down from 800 RPM to 600 RPM. And of course the fan itself with a 3-pin connector. That aside, and the screws for installing inside your case. So I'm gonna clean up here, and we're going to take a closer look at the features of these fans here. So what are new, and what are the technologies that Noctua has implemented in the new NF-S12A series fans. As mentioned earlier, all three NF-S12A fans are physically identical, with the exception, of course, of the fan rotation speed and the type of the drive. There you have the PWM fan version here, hence the 4 cables, and it has the S12 fan blade design of the original, with of course some differences. And the major difference between the S12B is the lack of the impeller tip is no longer beveled, but the difference with this one is that it has these little anti-stall knobs, which help improve the versatility of the S12A compared to the previous S12B and S12 fans, which were, well, there were some users who criticized its performance outside, of course, as a case ventilation use. When it was used on a heatsink and a radiator, the performance was not as good as people expected it to be. But of course, these little knobs right here improve the performance in medium to high impedance situations, and also it increases the fan's stall margin. So it is a lot better when you used outside of case ventilation situations. Also, if you look closely, that there are those inner surface microstructures all around that. Look at the beige area right there. That is, of course, for essentially lowering the noise that is when air passes through the tips of the fan blades right there. What happens is, of course, pressure will be pushed through there, and what the inner surface microstructures do essentially is to it significantly suppresses the flow separation from the suction side, therefore minimizing the noise overall. And as a third part of what Noctua calls the advanced acoustic optimization frame, we looked at the step inlet designs, looked at the inner surface microstructure, and now the third part is these integrated anti-vibration pads that you see here. These are actually easily removable. These appear to be silicone. You can just use it without it, or you can just leave it on. And in addition to the silicone mounting kits that Noctua has provided with the NF-S12A fans, you can further minimize the noise, of course, when it's inside your case, so it doesn't rattle. Of course, moving parts will rattle, so that allows that to absorb some of that noise. And you can see, I didn't point out the step inlet design right there as part of the frame. You have the, again, just to show you the inner surface microstructures right there, and the stepped inlet design right here on the outer side. You can see all 4 corners have that. This, of course, deliberately adds a turbulence to the influx in order to facilitate the transition from laminar flow to turbulent flow. Of course, it also helps with minimizing the noise when added with the microstructures right inside. And that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot to mention that each cable is, of course, braided, and you can see that these are high quality high quality connectors, and of course the SSO2 system with a metal bearing shell inside, and each, of course, compared to the, I believe the S12B still used the SSO bearing, the original one, but with the SSO2 bearing, the rear magnet is now placed closer to the axis, and that is supposedly should provide longer durability and precision. And of course you won't see it until unless I open up the fan itself. But there is the what Noctua calls the smooth communication drive. The PWM version has a custom IC in there to help smooth out the steps when it is adjusting the fan speed. But the smooth communication drive can also be found on the FLX and the ULN fan versions as well. Well, whenever you are downstepping, for example, from your motherboard and sending the signal, some fans can be abrupt, the changes, but with the smooth communication drive, it ensures that the torque impulses and the switching noises are minimized, and it's pretty much a smooth operation throughout. And speaking of smooth operation, each fan come with a 6-year warranty with an impressive mean time before failure rating of 150,000 hours. So if you're just in case you don't want to do the math, 150,000 hours essentially translates to 17 years or 250,000 months. 250 months. What was that? Am I doing my math wrong? But I can calculate the year. It's much easier. Well, anyway, 17 years for a fan. That's pretty much going to outlive a lot of your cases you could probably do. Even if you upgrade every 2 years, that's about 8.5 or 9 years of 9 different systems. Well, 6-year warranty for any fan is very good. And especially Noctua backs up their claim with these. I've actually had personal experience even before I was a reviewer a long time ago. Well, I had to swap out a fan because I bought a Noctua fan and I didn't think the performance was as good as it could be because the noise was not as quiet as I hoped it would be. Then they sent me a replacement one. It turned out that the one I got was a defective one, so they were very fast at it. So you should, if you do get one that you claim, you can just, of course, use your 6-year warranty that Noctua provides, and that's pretty much it. What you do now is put these to the test. Since the PWM fan and the FLX fan are essentially have the same rating, for the exception, of course, the PWM version, what I'm going to do is going to test the S12A, FLX, and the ULN with the low noise adapters and just see the performance. Essentially, the PWM will run the same as the FLX on full voltage. So I'm just going to run these two, compare them as an exhaust fan, and we'll test out how well it performs. Alright, there you have it. Just a few notes before I go to my conclusion. I wanted to test the Site SFlex 1200 RPM and 800 RPM to go head-to-head with the 1200 RPM and 800 RPM ULN and the FLX version of the Noctua S12A. But unfortunately, my Site SFlex 1200 RPM died even before I could finish my stock benchmark. So I only have my numbers there for the 800 RPM. So again, unfortunately, I couldn't finish that. So I apologize for that part. Also, I couldn't find a replacement for the 1200 RPM S12B, but I ordered Gentle Typhoons. They're going to be arriving soon. They couldn't arrive on time. I tried to delay this review for a while because I wanted the Gentle Typhoons to arrive in so I can conclude the review and kind of compare the performance of that with the S12A, because S12A is of course a premium priced fan. It's $27 right now at Newegg, so at that price range, it's definitely in the upper level. In fact, it costs about $11 or $10 more than the NZXT-FZ fan that I throw in there, just to show you what a $16 fan does compared to the Noctua. Is that even an overclocked? Of course, you're gonna get a lot more performance drop in the temperature drop in the performance, and the noise is a lot lower with the 1200 RPM. Even though they're both 1200 RPM, the fan, the noise signature is a lot different within Noctua because there's no turbulence for the fan, and the air is more distributed. You can put your hand on it, and it almost you won't feel it as you would feel a normal fan. Because a normal fan is usually concentrated in the middle, and if you put your fan in there, like for example in the back of the case, you'd feel it definitely. But for this one, you can feel that it is distributed a lot more. Especially if you're running the low noise adapter, you would think that the fan wasn't even running at all. But of course, you can see in the temperature when you look at the temperature log that it is definitely performing. It is just a matter of distributing the air properly with pushing it outside of the case in a more even manner. That's why there's also minimal noise, because there's no area in here where the air was getting trapped and getting pushed back into the inside the case. So everything was going out, and of course the packaging and the build quality excellent, as we expect from a Noctua product. The price is definitely given back to you in the form of excellent build quality and the accessory kit. You get plenty of accessory. You get silicon mounts, you get the extender cable, and the low noise adapters, which are all braided, and these are high quality braids there. They seem to be quite flexible as well. They're not the typical sort of a nylon braiding that you would find in a power supply or typical fans, and they're also kind of shrink wrapped there at the end with plenty of give there, plenty of allowance room for you to move about. And also I love these silicons on the side that you can easily just remove it anyway in case you don't want to use it. And also, well, I can live with the color scheme. I'm used to the Noctua color scheme with this one. Although I can understand that some people still want Noctua to kind of create a simple black one to match their case, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, since this color scheme is pretty much their trademark. And I am going to give the Noctua S12A fan an Editor's Choice Award. The only thing I disliked really was the price, but in terms of performance, it definitely delivers. Even without the low noise adapters, the noise is still very good. I would compare it to keeping my fans at a lower RPM, like typical case fans at a lower RPM, and but of course the performance is there, and the performance penalty, even when you put in a low noise adapter, is not much at all. So I would go ahead, if you want to have a silent case, you go ahead and apply those low noise adapters into your Noctua S12 fans. And again, the price currently is $27 or $28 in Newegg, although I think it offers free shipping, so if you're interested, you can check that out. I will I promise to update the benchmarks on the website once I get some of the fans that I want to compare directly with this, but for now, just click on the link below, and also leave questions or comments. You can go to us at Facebook, facebook.com/HLReviews. You can visit us at Twitter, twitter.com/HTHightechLegion rather. And once again, this is Ron signing out.